Hey fellas, it's Zem again, and I am actually doing the next one in the top five solid premium planes, and this is actually the Airabonita, which is the XFL-1 for the American line. This is a tier five. If you haven't figured out, I love tier fives. These are probably one of my favorite tiers, and that's kind of not only did when I pick these planes for being solid premium planes, also because most of you guys are either just starting out or just picking up the game, and it's best to get into the tier fives before you start, spending the money on the sixes, sevens, and eights. But yeah, I love tier five because it has so many great planes, so many iconic planes, and to me they seem to be a little bit more balanced, I guess, than you get into the higher tiers. So with that said, back to the Air Bonita. This airplane was actually a one-off prototype. This was actually the attempt by the U.S. Air Force, actually not the U.S. Air Force, U.S. Navy. I'm sorry, to turn the Air Cobra into a naval aircraft. We're all familiar with, of course, the Air Cobra from the Russian line, the one I did just recently, the P-39. And you can see the actual difference in the actual air model. Uh, this being that this plane was actually a tail dragger for obvious reasons, because it was going to be used for carrier operations. Now, this being just a prototype, this was 1938. This aircraft was never actually fitted with armament, so its planned armament was actually going to be 137 and two 7.62 two 30 cal machine guns, where the P-39 gets 250. So this gets 230s, and this gets, and of course the 37 millimeter. Now I did find some interesting stuff about this. There's actually this pretty cool website that went over a fair amount of detail about this. Of course, the Air Bonita actually, the Era Bonita, I'm sorry, actually lost to the Corsair. So, I mean, obviously, why not? Corsair was ridiculously good. But what I did find interesting, they had this little detailed here about, from where the wheel wells compared to the wheel wells and the Air Cobra, and that kind of stuff. And what was also interesting is that somebody actually went and looked this up, this is the remains of the only prototype that was ever built, the XFL-1, on a beach along the Puxatonic River in Maryland, and this is actually a picture from 1976. So I thought I'd just share that with you. That was kind of neat that somebody had actually, took a picture of it, and that's where it ended up at, was laying along the beach in a river. Pretty crazy, huh? So back to the aircraft, and one of the reasons I also picked this aircraft as a real solid one for the American line there's nothing actually wrong with the X4F3 or the XF4U. This just plays. Its maneuverability is much better than the other three, and I'll show you here for the information wise. And you guys are all, if you're just starting out the game, this is a big difference right here. Okay, here's the maneuverability at 953 compared to the F4 and the other F4 F3. So you're just starting out in the game, and uh, you're not quite into that whole energy fighter, that kind of thing. So the maneuverability is going to help you out at least for a little while. This is probably one of the more maneuverable aircraft, except for maybe like the F3, obviously at the tier three. I mean, this thing is just insane, stupid at over 1,000. But that's about the last one you get that's fairly maneuverable in the American line. So this aircraft, it does a little bit better on the maneuverability wise, and it does have a big boomstick, and you'll see it actually in the video what I'm talking about when I go head to head with some aircraft and stuff. So this is a little bit more user friendly. You're not going to have to learn a new playstyle quite yet, and it also gives you a little bit of a heads up on using the big caliber cannons that you're not going to get unless you go down the multi rolls in the American line. The rest of them all usually carry just 50s. So big 37, 230 calibers, plenty of firepower. So now does that. So good maneuverability, decent airspeed. Altitude performance is survivability, really well, and the gun is, that's a lot of boom right there if you can get that 37 hitting. So the XFL-1, and I'll bring this game up here if anybody's actually interested in like the actual credit earning for the Tier 5. This was actually a 10,000 combat point, and I made it 133,000, and I believe a 13,000 for service. So I ended up with 120,000 silver out of this game. So yeah, decent money making. Of course, tier 8s are always going to make more money, but if you're just starting out in this game, I mean, these tier 5s work just fine for getting you through the 6s and 7s. You're only needing to make those big money until you get up a little bit higher in the actual tech trees. So yeah, fun aircraft, nice roll rate, good maneuverability, big punch with that gun, and that's why this was one of my picks for real solid aircraft for the American line. So that being said, I will be bringing the actual video up here, and we will see what it can do. Hey fellas, back with the gameplay for the Airabonita, and we are playing Plateau. So it's a nice game. I believe it's all tier 5. So you guys will be seeing a little bit of actual, the dogfighting capability of this aircraft. I have a subscriber on the other team, Super Coronel. How you doing, buddy? He plays actually for Falco, one of the clans in games. One of the long-time clans in games have been here since, probably since the beginning. So hey, how you doing, Super? Ping the map, and we are trying to figure out where to go. And we will, like I said, surely see here that if you stick together, it's a lot easier to win. So almost immediately, you just start out at 4,000 feet. This thing's already in the yellow. So this is an aircraft that does not do real well at altitude. You see me trying to push up here, and it's a little sluggish. Once you get up to altitude, it's not too bad, but not something that you want to fight. This is something that you want to be down around under 4,000 feet, really using that turn and burn capability of the aircraft. So we're dropping down on the airbase here, and this is actually going to be, in my other videos, something that we can take over without having any ground pounders. So we split up, and you'll see the two ground attack planes go off to the south. They actually take that by themselves. If that doesn't tell you something about how ridiculously good GAs are right now, especially if there's two of them teamed up together, I don't know what will. So pulling on my first target here, trying to get in the 37 on that. And I'm usually just watching the big bullet. I don't really so much worry about the 50 cals. I like to get that 37 going. As you notice, it does heat up pretty quickly, so you got to kind of feather a little bit there. I was so close to actually finishing him off. I just wanted to finish him off with the 50 cals. Finally get my first kill. Turn back around, and the two EGAs down there are doing a pretty good job. We finished this off real quickly, and now we're heading toward the garrison, the center one. And on this map, it kind of works out well if you can actually take the center cap, because then you can play off that center cap to where we got to go. Of course, with this airbase, we have the ability to repair if we need to. And actually, I don't think I actually die in this one, so yay for me, right? Once again, aircraft has ridiculously good roll rates, good maneuverability, and other things, maybe just other than a Spitfire, and of course the Japanese Zero or the KI-64. Other than that, there's not a whole lot of planes at this tier that are going to outturn you. So those three are the ones you really have to work on. When that 37 does hit, you'll see some big numbers come off aircraft, and it does help with the little 30 cals too to finish off the low health ones. But the big 30 is what really does a nice job on taking off some big numbers. Flip over on the MiG-3, follow him around. Yeah, he's not getting away from me. Got one more here with the BF-110E. and he's done. So we're up 3 caps to their 1. They're still trying to take the South Air Base. So you've noticed those 2 ground attack planes actually took that 1 cap by themselves, and was doing a damn nice job of taking the other air base. So we flip back up over here, and we're on our way to the next target here, which gets taken. So we're up 4 already. Well done, well done. So now it's just a matter of we're just going to start knocking out enemy aircraft here. Yeah. Once you get that little bugger running on that, once you get that on target, I typically, especially with these big caliber guns, I don't really do a whole lot in this one, but I try to get them to fly away from me, a little more of a straight line than having to actually try to follow him into a spin like this right here, where I waited till he leveled off before I started firing at him. But sometimes you got to do what you got to do to get the win. So we're up a bunch right now, and now I'm just kind of trolling along here for kills and damage right now. At this point, their inability to take caps in general has not helped them at all. Back around BF-110E, he's trying to get away. He's actually fighting the other heavy fighter in cap. But yeah, it's not always in that situation, especially if you're a heavy fighter, you probably should have dove and took off. So we got an IL-2 coming in here. Looks to be a bot Kirill, and we're just going to pounce on him here and pick up some more damage and kills if we can. Those are always nice, especially when you get this many, this far up already. It's nice just to do this. These are the kind of games you really like to farm damage and points, because this is the easy way to make some cash. So I just can't stress enough how enjoyable this aircraft is to play. If you've gone down the American line any far, even the Tier 5 right now, these aircraft, most of the aircraft in the American line are very, they're not the best turners in the game, and this is one of the few at Tier 5. And after that, it pretty much goes to crap. The rest of them never get much better here. So pick up the next ground attack plane comes in. I want to knock him out before he can do some serious damage. Them Stukas are a pain with those big 37s. They can do a lot of damage here. Pull in behind him, start unload on him with the 37, pull back up. I pulled out of that deal. More out of the deal is the fact is if they do drop a bomb and you run into it, you go bye-bye. So you always remember that when you're coming in on ground pounders. You get too close, they drop a bomb, you're going to get caught in the blast. So done to defending that, and now I'm here just going to be here trying to help out one of my air defense fighters here. We got a guy with his Spitfires here, and I'm trying to get a couple long-range shots here. And this is the reason right here, fellas, you don't go head-to-head with a 37 millimeter. When that thing does hit, it takes off the big damages, big damages. So we got a BF-110E, another F4F, and one more heavy fighter right here. We're gonna knock these guys out and pretty much keep the game pretty well secured. As you can see how slow that 37 is. I typically try to keep track of it. I wish Wargaming would have it a little bit better, easier, that you could actually put in the actual color for different calibers, like one being green or one being blue, so it'd be a little easier to keep track of that. Yep, don't go to head don't go head to head with the 37. It just doesn't work. It only takes 1 or 2 shells from a 37 to really mess you up. So, but they flipped the cap. You wouldn't think with all the stuff we were shot down here. They immediately jump onto my ground attack plane, and I'm just going to come down here and kind of cherry pick defense fighters for doing something like that. They, if you can get them busy with something else, they're certainly a lot easier to take out. Sorry, Super, that you lost your internet, but that's the problem sometimes, right? I sometimes have that problem with dropping out on frame rate. So hopefully you get that fixed, buddy. Keep in on this guy. Let's kind of start feathering a little bit there, and you can see the one shell hit there was all over for 50. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will be having up the other ones up coming up a little later. So thanks a lot, guys.